Let's talk about the XP Deus factory preset programs. You may be thinking about buying an XP Deus and think, is it too complicated for me? Well, let me tell you the answer is no. The factory preset programs are there to make your life easier. The factory preset programs range from numbers 1 to 10 and they've been set up at the factory to give you optimum performance on a wide range of terrain and search scenarios. So let me just run through each program and just briefly tell you what they do, and I think you'll quickly see how simple the Deus is to operate. By pressing the plus or minus buttons on your headphones or your controller, you can scroll through the 10 factory preset programs. Program number 1 is called Basic One, and that is a simple bleep dig program. You have no iron tone, and by that I mean if you go over some iron you will not get a signal from it. It's very quiet, and you'll only get a signal from a good target, or a non-ferrous target shall I say. Basic One is a really simple program. It's a bleep dig program. All you do is turn the machine on, switch to number 1 and detect. It's as simple as that. So what advantages or disadvantages does Basic One offer? Well, it's a powerful program, but simplicity is the name of the game. You don't get an iron tone with the Basic One. You only get a tone when you go over a non-ferrous target, such as a coin. Let me demonstrate. I have a nail here and there's very little tone coming from it. You might get the odd spit, but in all essence it's silent. Now if I go over it with a coin, you get a nice solid sound. So that's Basic One. You're using a little bit more iron rejection than the other custom programs, but it's a simple to use switch on and go program. So right next to that is number 2, Goldmax Power. This is a really popular program. People have been using the Goldmaxes for many years, and we've just swapped this program straight into the Deus menu. So what does it offer? Well, the Goldmax Power program offers 3 tones, and it also offers an iron tone, and with slightly less iron rejection, so it makes it a little bit more dynamic. Let me demonstrate the iron. As you can hear now, we're getting a low tone coming in with the iron. A coin, a nice high tone, and the mid tone. For example, I'm going to use a ring pull here. Mid tone, high tone, iron tone. So you get a really good contrast of the different targets. Moving on, you've got number 3, Deus Fast. Very similar to the Goldmax Power, but once again a little bit more dynamic. Some things have been shaved off the adjustments. For example, the silencer is a lot lower, allowing you to work a bit closer to iron. The Deus Fast is probably the most popular factory preset program to use. It's exactly the same. It's got a 3 tone again, so there's no point demonstrating that. So most people toggle between the Deus Fast and the Goldmax Power. Okay, moving on, number 4. This is a really interesting one. It's called the pitch mode. Now the pitch doesn't have a tone as such. It's got an audio intensity, so you can hear deep or small targets compared to loud, shallow targets. There is an iron tone with this, as you can hear. Sounds a little bit more squishy. However, a good target, and as you get deeper, the target will get fainter. A good solid sound is what you're listening for. Iron tends to give a broken or stuttered sound. Okay, let's move straight on. We've got G-Max. Now G-Max isn't very often used here in the UK. I would say it's more for when you use the lower frequency coils, the black coils, 4 kHz, 8 kHz. It's a very deep program, but it doesn't have the dynamics the other programs offer. So for example, if you're in the forests or somewhere really quiet and you're using the black low frequency coil, it may be an advantage, but as a beginner they tend not to use the G-Max programs unless they've got a specific application. Moving quickly on again. Number 6, deep. What's different in deep? Well, a lot of people put deep in, number 6, and they just rush off expecting to find deep targets. Well, this isn't exactly the case because, as you know, the soil will determine the depth of the detector in most cases. So by using the deep program, which is very, very powerful, it may be too powerful for your site, so you'll get a lot of feedback, you'll get some false signals which will lead to confusion. Personally, I'd only use a deep program if I had a quiet site with not a lot of iron about. Also, the deep uses less filtering and it uses two-tone. So quite simply, you get a low tone for iron and a high tone for non-ferrous. Even your ring pull will give the same tone. Very easy to understand two-tone, there's no confusion there, but just be aware, only use the deep programs if your site conditions will allow it. Number 7, wet beach. Now this uses a different ground balance to cancel out the mineral from the wet sand. It's a free-tone program as well, very much like the others, but just remember, if you're on a wet beach, use wet beach. A lot of people make the mistake of going on the wet sand with the dry beach mode and the ground balance is completely different and you'll get false signals. Right, moving on. Number 8, dry beach. Again, a free-tone program, really simple to use, conventional ground balance for the dry beach, not too much mineral on the dry sand, easy to work. So if you're going out for a day on the dry beach just looking for coins and things like that, number 8 is a great choice. Number 9, my personal favourite, which is the hot program. Now hot uses a different tone, it's called full tones, where you get a different tone based on the conductivity of the target. For example, iron, that's at the bottom range of the targets, so that will give you a low tone. Foil is slightly higher, so that will give you a slightly higher tone. Moving up to the bigger silver, which is the top, that will peak out on a high tone. Let me quickly demonstrate. Iron, really low tone. Foil, tiny bit of foil. You can hear the tone change. Small, very small medieval coin. Ring pull. And a large silver coin. You can hear the tones moving up there. Great source of information when you're detecting. Brilliant fun to use. You can really get into it. That's the hot program number 9. Okay, and number 10 we're going on to Goldfield. Now Goldfield is a specialist program. If you're new to the dais, don't even go there because it takes a good ear and a little bit of knowledge about the machine to work it. What's Goldfield used for? Well, it's mainly used for finding gold nuggets in difficult soils such as Australia and things like that, where the soil is really, really hot. It's difficult to determine what's the target and what's the soil. So Goldfield is very good at separating that. It uses less filtering than the standard programs, but however, it can be used to find deep targets such as hoards. But we'll make another video on that another day. But Goldfield is something, if you're new to the dais, you'll probably not want to get involved with. Another thing you'll notice on the factory preset programs, the ground balance is set at 90. Now XP have set the ground balance at 90 simply because it's the best optimal setting. Now if you lower the ground balance, you'll start getting good signals from certain rocks, like these rocks. These are called hot rocks. Now you don't necessarily want to be getting signals from these thinking it's a coin. So using a ground balance at 90 eliminates signals from difficult rocks. So you're only hearing iron and good targets, ferrous and non-ferrous. So there you have it, the 10 factory preset programs for the XP dais. And I'm sure you'll agree there's nothing difficult about pressing a button and detecting. So there you go, thanks for watching, if indeed you still are, and hopefully see you in the field soon.